same way. So we can't just dump it all on the civil rights generation because that's not fair. We're seeing that this lesser to evil crap, this I'm voting for Biden and they don't care, don't even ask if he did anything for you. I mean, this community, like I said, other groups are coming in this country and they hitting the ground running with assistance of our government. They're hitting the ground running, and I'm telling you, these new immigrants that came in 2023, in 5 years they're gonna be past all you. Why? Because they'll play the game. They'll be a Democrat one day to get all the set aside for immigrants, and then the next minute they talk about Republican. They want to save money on their taxes. And they don't want the immigrants coming in either. Them same people that came that way, we want no more coming that way. And then if you look at these immigrants that got in here and they got past us. Well, these immigrants that's coming in, playing the game and doing what they got to do, while you still up here talking about the lesser of two evils, and I'm voting for Biden. And if any black person in our community tell you behind, hey, let's, sit it out, or if you don't just, you can't sit it out, do a protest vote. No, you're so emotionally tied to the Democrats. But as my great brother, Dynas Tamir said, voting Democrat is.
I'm gonna show you what he talk. Why did he say that? Watch this, because this guy was a Democrat prior. Excuse me.
Half-heartedly believed in a record surpassed only by Abraham Lincoln. So it would be tempting, on the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, as Johnson is being celebrated by no less than 4 living presidents, to dismiss Johnson's racism as mere code switching, a clever ploy from an uncompromising racial egalitarian whose idealism was matched only by his political ruthlessness. Reflections on the Civil Rights Summit, April 12, 20140-4:14.
Okay.
And my great brother, Dinas Tamir, said voting Democrat is a part of culture. If you don't vote Democrat, you're not black. See, Biden knew what he was saying when he said that. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. Because the Democrats know you. And they know your mindset. You'll turn against your family if they don't vote Democrat. But your family could be straight degenerates. They could be Pookie and Ray Ray. They could be 304s. They could be doing drugs. They could do whatever, stealing from the family. And you'll be given so much patience. But let them say they're not voting Democrat. Oh, hell no. That's it. You got to go. Man. And I told y'all, don't expect too much out the collective of the community. I said, this thing is a marathon, not a sprint.
Over the long memory of watching these institutions operate, that we are at a point that isn't like anything that I've watched up until now. And so as this next election gears up, given what we got through the last time, I'm real nervous. Like, and the nerves, the anxiety, it's building all the time.
Black to be in office is not going to be in office, so I'm just going to have to pick the lesser evil. And as of right now, that does seem like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Did you know that there's a simple combination of natural ingredients that will help you poop out pounds of old rotten waste in your colon within just a matter of days?
And they purposely talk to people from different age brackets. So you can't just say, and this is good they did this. So you can't just say it's a civil rights generation. This is all over the black community. That was a college student and just played the lesser to evil. She chose the pedophile and not the murderer. Lord. And you see why people eventually get to a point, they throw their hands up and they say, look, man, I don't want to be bothered with it. I'm just going to just do something else, or I'm going to do what I got to do, or whatever the case may be. Because doing this kind of content, and you literally watching the community go down because of, I told y'all, we participate in our own oppression. I've said that many times before. And you see how we participate. We can't just say white supremacy all the time. We got to talk about how we participate in our own oppression. We facilitate it. And one way we keep facilitating it, it's just going out there and just doing this lesser to evil crap, for performative voting. But then at the same time, if something happened, then these same people want to get out there and protest and talk about, oh, look what the police did, look what they did, look at these racists and all that. Like, bro, you had a chance to even do something about it. You didn't want to get on